Imagine waking up every morning and realizing that the only voice that truly matters is your own. That every fear, every hesitation, every doubt that has held you back was simply the echo of someone else's opinion. Today, I want to talk to you about breaking free from the invisible chains of approval, the chains that have silently dictated how you live, how you love, and how you dream. For too long, we've been running after the nods, the likes, the attaboys from the world outside, believing that they define our worth. But let me tell you something, the moment you stop chasing approval, the moment you step off the treadmill of validation, is the moment you reclaim your life. You gain clarity, you gain energy, and more importantly, you gain yourself. This isn't about arrogance. It's about awakening to the power you already carry, the courage to stand in your truth, and the audacity to live life not for the applause of others, but for the roar of your own soul. Today, we're going to unlock that power together. True empowerment begins the moment you stop looking outside yourself for validation and start trusting your own judgment. Most people live their lives as if the approval of others is the measure of their worth, constantly seeking nods of acceptance, likes, compliments, or recognition to feel complete. This endless chase consumes an immense amount of mental and emotional energy, leaving little room for authentic growth. But the reality is that no one else has the authority to define your value. When you rely on external approval, you are surrendering your personal power to someone else's perspective, which is fleeting, biased, and often irrelevant to your deepest purpose. True empowerment comes from cultivating a sense of self-validation, from recognizing that your opinions, your choices, and your desires hold intrinsic worth. This doesn't mean disregarding feedback or living in a vacuum. It means prioritizing your own compass above the noisy chorus of voices trying to steer your life. When you learn to trust your own instincts, to listen to your inner guidance, and to make decisions rooted in your values, a profound shift occurs. You begin to operate from a place of confidence and clarity, unshaken by criticism or praise. You realize that your actions do not need the approval of others to be meaningful or impactful. Every step taken from self-validation is a step toward liberation. You start to notice how often you've held yourself back, not because of actual limitations, but because you feared judgment, rejection, or disapproval. That fear, though powerful, loses its grip once you internalize the truth that your worth is inherent, not contingent. Empowerment through self-validation also allows you to set boundaries without guilt, pursue goals without hesitation, and embrace your uniqueness without compromise. It creates a foundation where decisions are made intentionally, not reactively, and where success is measured by personal fulfillment, not public applause. When you fully embrace this mindset, you stop being a passenger in your own life, waiting for permission or acceptance, and become the driver, charting a course that aligns with your vision and your potential. This internal power ignites motivation, resilience, and creativity, enabling you to face challenges with courage rather than apprehension. You begin to recognize that every moment spent seeking approval from others is a moment stolen from your true potential. It is only when you consistently choose to validate yourself, to honor your voice, and to trust your inner authority that you unlock the ability to live authentically and powerfully, free from the limitations imposed by external expectations. Most people don't realize just how much of their energy is consumed by worrying about what others think. From an early age, we are conditioned to seek approval, to fit in, to conform, and to measure our worth by the opinions of others. This habit becomes so ingrained that we rarely stop to question whether it is serving us or limiting us. Chasing external validation creates invisible chains, holding us back from expressing our true selves, taking bold actions, and stepping into our full potential. Every decision, every word, every action becomes filtered through the lens of other people's expectations, and in that process, we lose touch with our own voice, our own desires, and our own instincts. The more you try to please everyone, the more diluted your life becomes, and the more your sense of purpose becomes obscured. Energy that could be devoted to personal growth, creativity, and pursuing your dreams is instead spent on constant comparison, worrying about judgment, and navigating social pressures. Breaking free from these chains begins with awareness, seeing clearly how much control you have unknowingly handed over to others. It's about recognizing that the opinions of others are often shaped by their own fears, insecurities, and limitations, and that basing your decisions on them is like letting someone else write the story of your life. Once you understand that, you begin to reclaim your freedom. You start to make choices not to satisfy others, but to honor yourself. You stop apologizing for your uniqueness and start embracing the qualities that make you different. And as you detach from the need for external approval, you notice a remarkable shift. Confidence rises, clarity emerges, and your energy multiplies. You are no longer trapped in cycles of people-pleasing or fear of rejection. Every action becomes purposeful, fueled by your own values and goals rather than the fleeting judgments of others. This liberation allows you to take risks, to innovate, and to pursue opportunities that may have seemed intimidating before. It encourages authenticity because when you are not trying to fit into someone else's mold, your true essence shines through. It fosters resilience because criticism and rejection no longer have the power to shake your sense of self. You begin to experience life on your own terms, free from the invisible constraints that have held you back, and you create space for a deeper connection with your own ambitions, passions, and dreams. Authenticity is the cornerstone of a fulfilling and empowered life, yet so many people shy away from embracing it fully because of fear of judgment, rejection, or standing out. From the moment we are socialized, we are taught to blend in, to follow rules, and to meet expectations. While there is value in learning from society, too often it leads to a life lived in the shadows of others' perceptions. A life where the real why is hidden behind masks, scripts, and facades. The courage to be authentic begins with a simple but profound choice: deciding that your truth matters more than the approval of anyone else. It is about acknowledging your values, desires, and emotions, and allowing them to guide your actions unapologetically. Embracing authenticity is not always comfortable. It requires confronting insecurities, letting go of the need for validation, and facing the possibility of criticism. But it is precisely in those moments of discomfort that growth occurs, because courage is forged in the fire of vulnerability. When you commit to living authentically, every interaction, every decision, and every goal aligns more closely with your inner compass. You no longer act to please others or to avoid conflict. Instead, you act to honor your own principles and to pursue what truly fulfills you. This shift transforms relationships because authenticity attracts the right people while naturally filtering out connections that are superficial or misaligned with your values. It also transforms your sense of self because when you are true to yourself, you cultivate confidence that is unshakable, rooted not in external approval, but in inner integrity. Authenticity allows for creativity to flourish as ideas are expressed freely without the constraint of seeking permission or avoiding judgment. It fuels passion because when you engage in pursuits that resonate deeply with your own desires, the energy and enthusiasm you bring are contagious and magnetic. The courage to be authentic also teaches resilience because once you stop hiding behind masks, rejection and criticism lose their power to destabilize you. You learn to stand firm in who you are, even when others attempt to impose their opinions or limitations upon you. Ultimately, embracing authenticity is an ongoing journey, a practice of content. Use self-awareness and self-expression. Each time you choose to show up fully as yourself, you break through the invisible barriers built by fear and external expectations. You step into a life of greater meaning and fulfillment, and you inspire those around you to do the same. Freedom and choice is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked aspects of living a truly fulfilled life. So many people allow their decisions to be dictated by the expectations, opinions, or judgments of others, believing that conformity is safer or more acceptable. Yet every time you make a choice based on fear of criticism or desire for approval, you surrender a piece of your personal power. Real freedom comes when you recognize that you alone have the authority to determine the direction of your life, that your decisions do not need validation from anyone else to be meaningful or effective. This freedom begins with awareness, understanding that the opinions of others are just that, opinions, not mandates, and that you have the right and responsibility to act in alignment with your own values and vision. When you embrace this principle, you start to make decisions from a place of clarity and intention rather than reaction or compliance. You begin to notice how much energy is wasted second-guessing yourself or worrying about how others will respond, and how liberating it is to act from conviction instead. With this freedom comes accountability, because choosing for yourself also means owning the outcomes, learning from mistakes, and celebrating successes without needing external approval. It is in this space of responsibility and self-determination that true growth occurs. Because each choice is made deliberately, each step forward is grounded in personal purpose, and each challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen your resilience. The freedom to choose also fosters creativity and innovation, as you are no longer bound by conventional expectations or constrained by the fear of judgment. You can explore paths that excite you, take risks that inspire growth, and pursue goals that resonate deeply with your inner self. Moreover, this autonomy enhances your relati on ships and interactions. Because when you're clear and confident in your choices, you communicate authentically, set boundaries with ease, and attract people who respect and support your vision. The sense of empowerment that arises from choosing based on your own values rather than external pressure creates a profound shift in mindset. You begin to understand that life's possibilities are vast, that limitation is often self-imposed, and that you have the capacity to design a life that reflects your deepest aspirations. By embracing the freedom inherent in conscious choice, you step into a space where fear diminishes, confidence grows, and every action becomes a reflection of your authentic self. Unleashing true potential begins the moment you stop living for the approval of others and start embracing the power within yourself. For far too long, many people have held back, constrained by self-doubt, fear of judgment, or the desire to fit into molds created by others. This constant need for validation acts like an invisible ceiling, limiting growth, creativity, and the pursuit of meaningful goals. But when you shift your focus inward, when you begin to trust your own instincts, your decisions, and your vision, a remarkable transformation occurs. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and you recognize strengths that have been dormant under layers of conformity and hesitation. True potential is not just about achieving external success, it is about aligning your actions with your authentic self and fully expressing the talents, passions, and capabilities that are uniquely yours. When you stop chasing approval, you free yourself to take risks, innovate, and pursue bold goals without the constant fear of rejection. Every step taken from a place of self-belief multiplies your energy, sharpens your focus, and amplifies your impact. This process also cultivates resilience, because when you are no longer dependent on the validation of others, criticism and setbacks become learning opportunities rather than sources of discouragement. You begin to embrace challenges as catalysts for growth, understanding that each obstacle overcome strengthens your abilities and expands your capacity to achieve more. Unleashing potential also requires a commitment to continuous self-discovery, reflection, and personal development. It demands that you identify limiting beliefs and patterns that have held you back and actively replace them with empowering thoughts and behaviors. By doing so, you create a foundation for sustained momentum where confidence, clarity, and passion drive every action. Moreover, stepping into your true potential inspires those around you. People are drawn to authenticity and courage, and when they witness someone living fully and boldly, it encourages them to explore their own capacities. The ripple effect of one person embracing their full potential can influence communities, workplaces, and even entire movements. Ultimately, unleashing true potential is about taking ownership of your life, embracing the freedom that comes with self-reliance, and choosing to act in alignment with your deepest values and highest aspirations. It is about recognizing that your capabilities are far greater than you have been led to believe, and that the only limits that truly exist are the ones you accept. By consistently stepping into this space of authenticity and self-trust, you ignite a momentum that propels you toward remarkable achievements, profound fulfillment, and a life defined not by the expectations of others,